On this episode of Purposely Curious, we sit down with Chef Josie and talk about food and what she cooked for me prior to our recording. While she cooked, we had some cocktails, so by the time we ate and sat down to record, we were having a little bit of a blast. Are you a natural cook or need step-by-step recipes like me to cook? Put on your aprons and join us in the kitchen as this episode starts now. Hello, everyone, and I wanted to introduce you guys to my beautiful, most amazing ass friend who is a chef. Apparently, I have friends who know how to cook, and her name is Josie. We're starting this episode after her and I she's been drinking whiskey, I've been drinking Prosecco, and we cooked up. What did you cook for me?
Spanish albóndigas.
Spanish albóndigas. Albóndigas, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, are meatballs.
Exactly.
Yes?
Spanish meatballs.
Spanish meatballs from
from España, Spain.
Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Spain. España. And so the reason I wanted to have Josie is because this woman, I mean, she cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Post that shit on Instagram, and I'm like fucking getting fat just watching that shit. She literally cooks gourmet fucking crazy ass shit, and I'm here like learning how to cook.
I know, I saw your fridge.
Oh my god,
the freezer section is packed.
The freezer section is packed. Go ahead, put it all out there, please.
I love it judgment. Though. I love that you that you at least have something to eat at home.
Yeah, I'm not dying of hunger.
You're not.
I'm not. So essentially, my fridge has like a few items, and then my freezer is jam packed. And I'm sure for Josie being a chef is like, where's all the fresh food?
You know what though? I'm really impressed with your pantry. You are well seasoned up there, girl. And even with your dry herbs, and on top of that, you had like kitchen utensils and like all the appropriate things that one would need to at least start her up a meal.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with that.
Yeah.
So you're not completely hopeless. You're on the right track.
Yeah. And so some of you guys who listen to me have probably seen some of my stories on Instagram. Occasionally, I like to cook and kind of show the process of me cooking. I'm not on Josie's level. I'm not a natural cook, meaning I need a recipe 100%. Need a recipe. I need the time. I need how much to put in, unless it's garlic. If it's garlic, I will usually double, you triple if you have to. Yes, I love garlic. But I've never been the one in a relationship to be the cook. So lately I've been trying to pick it up, and I would always message her, I think every week.
Yeah,
I would be like,
I at least get a message from you once a week.
Yes.
About something that I'm making.
I even told her I'm straight, but fuck, I would marry you just to fucking eat every day.
You're like, I'm straight, but I'll marry you. I'll wipe you up right now.
Yes. So we had again some albóndigas españolas, which is
Spanish
meatballs.
So when you look at it, I don't want people to get the idea that it's like spaghetti. Oh, I'm sorry, marinara sauce with meatballs, because that's not. The flavors are so much more different. The ingredients that go into it are completely different. It's a pomodoro sauce, which is a tomato-based sauce, not marinara. So. And
I can attest, I was here. She's in my apartment. She literally cut a shitload of tomatoes and made it from scratch.
Yeah, everything was from
This bitch is on another level.
There's nothing wrong with using, if you want to just speed up the process, go ahead, use crushed canned tomatoes. But we're in the summertime. It is a seasonal fruit / vegetable, the tomato. So go ahead, use it if you have it. They were perfect. Gosh, that sauce was delicious.
Yeah, the whole thing was delicious. Yeah.
I know. I even de-seeded them in front of you. It was so the way you were looking at me when I was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just de-seeding.
Did I freak you out?
I loved it. I just remember we were talking about earlier, and I was like, I'd like to explain what I'm doing so people understand what these steps.
Yeah.
As it comes to tomatoes, you don't want a bunch of seeds in your food. Like, you take all that out and you want to cook the tomato, not have like a watery pomodoro sauce. You want to have a nice thick stew type, texture soup, which is why anyways, I'm
So guys, this might be the first podcast that Josie does before she hits it big. I'm just putting it out there. The whole time she was cooking, I felt kind of incompetent, just kind of standing there. Can I help you with anything? But what I'm getting at is that, I feel like there's so much potential for her as a cook. She was explaining it to me, and I felt like I was watching her on YouTube, and so I kept encouraging her. I was like, girl, you got a lot of material here. Make it happen. And so I really hope, and you guys heard it here, if 10 years from now she's famous as fuck, that she took my advice.
Yeah, right. I took Mary's advice. My sweet Mary.
Sweet Mary with
and I forgot about all you little people that made it big. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Now, my sweet Mary she's calling me her sweet Mary, but I'm feisty. And
she's far from that. Oh my God.
But I'm the sweetest person you will ever meet. That's for sure.
Until someone makes you mad, and then
what did you say? The Escobar comes out of me.
And then you and you know what? Your apartment looks very well kept. My goodness, you're so tidy.
Thank you. You're not the first one to say that, but I am very clean and tidy. But if shit hit the fan, I'm the first one in the front line.
I believe it. I'm telling you. Yeah. I called you sweet, and you got all.
I was like, bitch.
You're like, yeah, but if you piss me, I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna eat my dinner now.
But by the way, we have been drinking.
Yes, we have.
My brother and my cousin John always said that if shit hit the fan, even though they know I would be down.
Earlier you asked me when we were cooking, and earlier we were discussing just about the stereotypes that about Salvadorians. My sweet Mary and I are Salvadorian. I'm part Salvadorian, and Mary's full Salvadorian.
Yeah.
So apparently there's that whole
connotation that
about Salvadorians being hotheads. You know what? You just proved the yes you are. I like how this segment was supposed to be about food and cooking and chef life, and then it just derailed.
Bitch, this is just the
on
intro.
On the Hot Mess Express.
This is just the intro.
It's just the intro. All right. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Let's cheers to that.
I got my whiskey. You got your
your
your sparkling wine. All right.
Yeah,
down it.
Honey, it's called Prosecco.
Oh, Prosecco. Oh, shit.
But yes, I'm the type of person that's like, I'm pretty graceful, like you said. But definitely, if someone came to mess with someone I loved, I'm down. I'm down to get down.
I believe you. I think I'm going to say that's every Latina woman who has, I don't know. For some reason, for me, Latina women just have more heart than even Latino men.
You think so?
I said it.
Yeah.
I said it. Fight me.
No. So let's go back to the Latina woman, right?
Got it.
There are people who feel like some Latina women are just very jealous. I'm telling you from people that I've talked to. I don't think I'm the jealous type.
I'm not either.
So does that make me less Latina?
Absolutely not. It makes you, I think, more of a confident woman. That just makes that just makes you a self-assured, confident woman. And that's really beautiful to see. I don't understand the whole idea of jealousy, especially being jealous over another woman. Like, there is no room for that.
Yeah.
That just says a lot about the other person who is jealous. It's like their insecurities, and I used to look down on it.
We all
but
have insecurities.
Everybody has insecurities. Jealousy is not one of my insecurities.
I think it's how do we react to those insecurities.
You know what? I've learned to be compassionate. When I see someone who gets jealous or upset, or it seems like they're attacking me, it's just an insecurity that they have, and I think the best way to approach it is just having compassion and understanding them of where they're coming from. It's just, so I just try to be kinder about it. I truly believe in that theory of just kindness will help another person just help them soul search. I think it's important just to be kind and understanding and just give them their space too.
Yeah. So what Josie was referring to earlier is that apparently women of Salvadorian descent or women who are Salvadorian have a reputation of being crazy. quote unquote crazy.
Hotheads.
Hotheads.
Crazy.
Now, that's open to interpretation to different people. Like if you have a girlfriend who's jealous, who doesn't trust anybody that you talk to, if it's someone from the opposite sex, people are like, oh, she's Salvadorian. That bitch is crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the jealous type. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying in the sense that there are some certain, maybe I'm a little confident in certain ways, but I'm also a believer that if they're going to cheat on me, they're not meant for me.
Oh, my thing is like, if you're going to cheat on me, blind guy,
Yeah.
go. I can do without you. That's all right. Cause I got 1, 2, and 3 still waiting for me to come by.
Yes.
So don't trip. I'll be okay.
So now let's go back to the whole crazy thing, right? So I may not be the jealous type of woman, right? But if it means to, you know, I'm gonna get down to defend my family and my friends. Oh, I'm gonna get down.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
So maybe some people might think, yeah, that she's Salvadorian, she's fucking crazy.
Well, I'm sorry if that's the case where it comes like to being like defending your family. Then yes, by all means, I am that crazy, loud, obnoxious,
yes,
ready to murder you Salvadorian woman. But you know what, mind you, like, you know, I'm also Mexican. My mom's Mexican. And now I think I get my hot-headedness from her because she a feisty one.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's just stereotypes and whatnot. But
yes, and I think it's a lot of stereotypes because
absolutely. I mean, like I said, my mom always tells me, she's like, no, you get your hot-headedness and your temper from your dad's side, because my dad's part Salvadorian. I'm like, nah, lady, I'm just like you. I get it from you.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And then the other thing too is the reason I wanted to have Josie on is because she is a chef. She just cooked some Spanish albondigas, aka meatballs from Spain. Holy shit, they were good. I got full off of one.
Oh my God, I know. I made them big. I make sure to make those big balls, just big enough balls of fire. I told her, I was like, I want to make these balls big. But yes,
she's so cute. I don't even know how to go.
I know, you're like, where did I go? What did I just? What was the question? So you said you wanted to be on your show.
So going back to the fact, you know, I've seen you thrive from when I first met you. Your stories on Instagram, I mean, you're cooking some gourmet breakfast, gourmet lunch, gourmet snacks, gourmet dinner. I mean, I am the type of person, you said you saw my pantry, I had a lot of spices and shit like that, but I don't have what you have. I need a recipe step by step, you know, to be able to cook a good meal. And sometimes I find people who give me legit recipes and I'm like, damn, this is some good shit. But you literally, everything you cook today, you cook from scratch. And the way you were narrating everything, I mean, when did you know you were into cooking and you loved it?
God, it's so funny you should ask that, because these past couple of days I've been reminiscing on that. I really have. I was thinking to myself, because I was preparing for this, for this podcast. But it just like took me back, like, to when I was a little girl. I was little, and I remember just, you know, my mom worked so hard and so much, you know, even like she cleaned houses. So she would just like clean like 2-3 houses a day. So she would be busy, you know, and none of my siblings cooked. We were all kids. There was 5 of us in the house. Fuck, man. And my pops is a mechanic, so he was always in like the garage working on cars and whatnot. We would be hungry, you know, even snacking or whatever. So I just remember being little and just going through our empty fridge. I still didn't even know how to maneuver like a stove. I was a kid. I was like probably like, you know, 6 or 7. But I remember it would be like Saturday mornings or whatever, just the whole day. It's regular television, and, you know, it's after cartoons. We would just watch like cooking channels all day. And I was just so in awe watching, you know, these cooking shows. Jacques, you know, one of them, like, you know, the French chef that, you know, would come on Saturday afternoons and just watch him cook, and just with these wonderful recipes, you know. Wolfgang. I remember watching Wolfgang when I was a little girl, and God, you have to understand, growing up, working for the Wolfgang, working alongside him, and I was a little girl. God, it makes me want to cry. dreaming one day I can do this. It's mind blowing. It's like, it's literally a dream coming true that I never, ever in a million years would have expected to happen. I was really little. I was young, just watching these prestigious chefs, these, Michelin star chefs, these chefs with the same backstory as I did, growing up poor, growing up with the same passion, little, watching their mothers or grandmothers cook.
Yeah.
And that was me. I remember watching it, being inspired, going in the kitchen. And one thing they always say, just work with what you have. Whatever you work with, what you've got. So I'd go through my fridge, and even if it was like a fucking, a hot dog Frank, little weenie, I'd even like give it like, just certain cuts and season it and fry it up a certain way. Just, I educated myself in my own kitchen without adult supervision. I could have possibly burned out our kitchen, but I was so I was so determined to learn and just so inspired. And I was little. I just remember I was probably like 6 or 7, and just doing it, and even plating it a certain way, making it look beautiful. And I just would just stare at it before I would even eat it. And I'd just be so content and so happy and just like satisfied. Like, I did it. All right, now time to eat. It's just, which is what I told you earlier. Like, my first rule when I cook, I can put so much love into it and so much heart into it. But I'm already an experienced cook. I've done this. I went to school for it, so I know better. You eat first with your eyes. You plate that motherfucker, and you plate that motherfucker right.
Yeah.
And, when you see it, you fall in love with it. You appreciate it so much more. And I remember having that same rule when I was little. And it just always stuck with me. And yeah, even my sister used to tell me, she's like, gosh, as I got older, she's like, you're the kind of person who just finds scraps and make something out of it. She's like, when you want to eat, you like, you'll look for stuff to eat, like to make and stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not going to feed myself crap.
Yeah. And when you make shit from scraps, you probably are like, damn, this is some good
Oh my God.
shit.
Those are the best kind of foods. And I learned that from my mom. My mother she always said, she's like, I'm not a great cook. She's like, I'm not a good cook. Because my mother had to learn on her own. My grandmother was a fucking amazing cook. She was known all over her neighborhood what a great cook she was. For the other Los Muertos, my mom said that in Mexico, in the capital, she would like just set up an entire table of just food that she would make from scratch, down to like el maíz, like just grinding el maíz. And
what is el maíz for our non-speaking?
Corn to make tortillas. And just things like that, everything she made from scratch. My mom said, she's like, my mother was like the most amazing cook. She used to feed like the whole neighborhood. She would house people. She would bring people in and feed them. And, she just knew so many recipes. I always, my grandmother died when my mom was really young, so I never got to meet her, but my mother tells wonderful stories. Like, oh gosh, she tells the most amazing stories of her upbringing, and she would talk about my grandmother so much, and I just admired her. And I was always like, I knew where I got it from, where I loved to cook. I was like, it's my grandmother. And I remember one time we were at the grocery store. I was with my mom, and we're going down the aisles, and my mom's asking me, so I think we need this. I was like, oh, that's on aisle 5, but if you want this, it's on produce, so we got to go down this way. But I know we also need this. So, and I just noticed my mother's looking at me, like just smiling. And I look at her, I was like, what? She's like, you remind me so much of my mother right now. Aww. She's like, oh my God, I wanted to cry on the spot. Like,
that's the sweetest thing.
I just looked at her because I've always like, God, I always wanted to meet my grandmother. And I hear so much about her and what a great cook she was and what a wonderful woman she was. My mom was just looking at me with this smile, and she was just like, you remind me so much of my mom right now. She's like, that's exactly how my mother used to be. Like, when we would go to the marqueta in Mexico, and I was just like, what?
Marqueta is, for those of you who listen, don't know Spanish.
Market.
It's the store, grocery store.
It's grocery store. So yeah, like it was just, mind you, for those of you who are Latinas or Latinos, know how critical mothers are of their daughters and how they rarely compliment their daughters. They're very harsh and critique like to perfect, but that was probably the first compliment my mother ever gave me. And I never told her because I was like, no, she's going to take it away from me by throwing it like a jab. Yeah. So I just remember looking at her. I was like, it meant so much to me for her to say that to me. And I always remember that. I always remember that. I hold on to it because never meeting my grandmother, I feel like I met her through food, through me cooking. The recipes that my mother has shown me, that my grandmother showed her, I feel like I know her through that. Like I lived through that. And it's, gosh, like I feel her. I don't know. It sounds weird.
No,
Never have meeting.
sometimes you're connected to someone without,
Without having met them, correct, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like I even get on my mom to this day. I'm like, I need you, lady, to get on it and remember that mole recipe because we're gonna make it. If my grandmother made it and it was the best mole you ever had, Mom, I need you to tell me now. So that's actually the project that my mom and I are working on right now. I'm trying to get her to remember the recipe for the mole that my grandmother used to make because I want that recipe.
You guys are bonding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Food is a bonding mechanism for a lot of people, for sure.
I think Bourdain said it best, when whenever he describes food, like he mentions it a lot in his interviews or anything he does where he says that food is just like brings people together. It's a connection. And it's a big rule in my house. Like when we're at the dinner table, I live with my nephews, they're not allowed to have their phones out, their computers out, whatever little gadget they have. We're at the dinner table, like none of that exists. We're going to sit, we're going to eat like a family, and we're going to converse. We're going to talk about our day. And my parents did that to us when we were growing up. So I wanted to instill that in my nephews. And we do. I'll talk to them and we'll be on a roll while we're eating this food. And my babies, thank the Lord, love home cooked foods. Like especially like my mom, we cook a lot of home cooked Mexican food. So to me, that's important. It's important for them to know like their cultural background. Like, so we have like even Salvador, like pupusas, or I'll make Turkish food every night because like their grandfather's Turkish. We'll make Mexican food, but my babies love it, so they are eating it, and then
you got a good mix there,
dude. Oh my god, yeah.
Yes, you're born in the United States, which is already a melting pot of everything, Salvadorian, Mexican, and Turkish food. Holy shit.
Yeah, those kids eat good. So we have and on top of that, I'm always trying to experiment like with different recipes or, we're not, those things aren't the only things I want my babies or people that I know or my friends to experience. Like it's not like we can, especially right now during our pandemic, it's not like we can pick up and go to, Spain and have Spanish albóndigas. It's not like we can get up and go to fucking, Germany, have a fucking brat, an original brat. And,
yeah.
And eat, so that I'd like to bring that in my kitchen. In my kitchen, I'll cook whatever I have. If I'm craving it, if I see something like a Colombian recipe, or if I'm craving, I don't know, a Japanese food, like I'll get in my own kitchen, I'll fucking do it. It is not that complicated. It's easy for me to say, I know I get it because I cook. I'm a chef. This is my profession. But it really is not that difficult. It
really isn't. So, my parents are Salvadorian. My mom cooks Salvadorian dishes. But ever since I've been living on my own, I cook everything but Hispanic foods. It's not intentional. I think it's more on my end trying to taste different foods, learn how to cook different foods. Because I went, 25 years of eating the same shit.
Got it.
When I say shit, it's not shit. It's the best shit out there. Do you get what I mean? But what I cook is I'm always trying to try different recipes. Now, I'm not on Josie's level. Josie's on Gordon Ramsay level. I'm over here like following fucking recipes. You know what I mean?
So, okay. So I'll counterpoint with this. I know you said that this is why I say it's really important for people to at least try to cook in the kitchen. I'm really proud of you that you're actually like trying, like you are trying.
You see my stories, right?
You try, girl. I love it. I love anyone who puts any effort.
I made a beef Wellington, guys, and I posted it on my stories. Mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms, and I fucking made mushrooms because it was part of the beef Wellington.
I love someone who really gets in there, kitchen and really tries. That's so important. It's so vital, you guys. And not only that, you'll find something out of, you're spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, and just like to me, it's very therapeutic, and you can take as much time as you want. Sometimes I'll be in the kitchen just taking my sweet ass time, and it'll take me like 2 or 3 hours just to get one thing out, and that's okay because it's in my kitchen, my rules, and the way I want it done. But take your time. Take your time. It's not like it's your job. You're at a restaurant. No one's watching you. Like we were talking about earlier. You kept telling me, you're like, I'm not your coworker. Like I'm I'm not your one of your cooking buddies, one of your chef buddies. I'm not your boss. Like, don't, you know.
So let me elaborate on what Josie is saying right now. Josie is a chef who's dealing with other chefs. And so she was starting to like talk down about what she was cooking. And when I say talk down, it was almost like she was saying, I forgot this step, this and this and that. And I'm like, I'm not your peer. You know what I mean? Like, stop. You're already beating yourself up. I'm going to love whatever you're cooking. Like,
it's going to be great.
Yes. And that was the what I was trying to get across to her was like, no, girl, like, do you like, this is for, you're cooking for someone who fucking follows a fucking recipe. Do you know what I mean? Who, if there's obviously the only thing she changes, I follow a recipe to the T. If there is garlic, I'll probably double that shit because I love garlic, but I don't know how to cook naturally. You know what I mean? Okay. So if you guys see some of my stories on my Instagram and the food looks bomb, I'm following a recipe to the T. And so I was basically essentially telling her, like, don't tell me what you think you missed or anything. Like, I'm not your peer. I'm not a chef here to say, I'm not on her level is what I was trying to tell her.
You fucked that up.
No,
do it over.
I'm not here to criticize you. I'm here to enjoy what you're about to give me.
But I felt it was only fair to be honest and let you know, because I wanted you to have the full experience of having. See, and this is me being, I am like so hard on myself at times.
But that's the thing. Your full experience is you're on a fucking Michelin. What is it called?
Michelin star.
Exactly. I'm over here
so
at the bottom.
For 2 Michelin star chefs. Just saying.
Yeah, but do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I kept saying, like, stop trying to beat yourself up. Like, you know, like, I'm sure it's gonna be good. And by the way, these were the best meatballs españoles that I've ever had.
Okay? They were really good. Oh my gosh.
Really good. Now, can you tell everyone why they were really good? No, I'm just kidding.
I will. You know, and I will say this. Hold on. Sorry, the whiskey's kicking in.
Oh yeah, she was having whiskey, so she women who drink whiskey, guys. Ooh.
Those are the best ones. I love whiskey. I freaking love it. But yeah, the key. Well, there was, apart from there being a mixture of ground pork and ground beef, a lot of people tend to use breadcrumbs. Like dried breadcrumbs and put them in their like their ground meats. Dude, get some fresh bread and use the inside of it. I use a bolillo. We were making Spanish meatballs. We're gonna use fucking bolillo for this.
Now, what is bolillo?
Bolillo is for Mexican. It's like it's a Mexican loaf. Like, you got your French bread, well, you got your Mexican bread. It's a French. It's a Mexican loaf, a little loaf. And I took the inside of it out. I just dredged it or soaked it up in milk, 2% because I'm lactose, and threw it into the meat mixture. And that's, it makes it, that's what keeps it moist. That's what keeps the meat really nice. And also we sweated out the garlic and which the recipe didn't call for garlic, but I garlic everything.
Yeah, and, I'm with her on that. I love garlic.
And the onions, love it. Which makes them soft, because if you don't want to bite into a meatball and there just be like a really fucking acidic piece of garlic or onion, so we sweated them down, make them, we caramelized them a little bit, added them to the albóndiga mixture. It's perfect for a perfect fucking a moist fucking meatball. You want that fresh bread. Use some fresh bread, soak it in a little bit of milk, throw it in your batch. It'll all mix in well together, the egg and the sweated aromatics. You're gonna have like the most moist meatball. So do that, you guys. Do that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to encourage Josie to start a YouTube channel, because essentially as she was cooking everything, she was teaching me what she was doing, showing me, and literally narrating her whole process. And I was like, girl,
I didn't realize I was doing that.
And it's funny because
until you called me out on it.
So while she's telling me what she's doing, I literally have a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos and I'm like eating and watching her. And I was like, I feel like I should be sitting on my sofa watching YouTube. I was like, why the fuck don't you have a YouTube video? 'Cause
I know, it's so funny.
Yes, I was telling her that, occasionally I start watching YouTube videos at 11 o'clock at night of how people cook shit and right before bed. I don't know why I do that, but I do. And so I like the fact that she was narrating everything that she was doing and why she was doing it. So like I said, I'm trying to encourage her.
That was funny.
Yes.
I really did not. I mean, I didn't catch, like I said, I didn't realize I was doing that. And I just looked up and you're just with your eyes wide eating your you're like, I love how you're just explaining things. I was like, I'm explaining it. Yeah. I just remember like, all right, you know, this. I was thinking out loud because I do that even at home. I'll think out loud and I'll talk to myself and everyone thinks I'm talking to them. Like, did you say something? I'm like, I'm not fucking talking to you. Get out of my kitchen. Why are you even in here?
I loved it. I was like, okay. And then you added paprika. Why? Oh my god! Like,
I know.
But what was funny is that I literally had a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, and I was like staring at her, putting chip after chip in my mouth, and I was like, I feel like I'm watching YouTube. And why don't you have a YouTube channel? Because I would totally watch this shit.
I've been very blessed with followers and people who have requested, like, when are you gonna have your YouTube channel? It's just, you know, like I said, we discussed. Because my mom told me the same thing too.
Yeah.
She mentioned it, and that was just today, because she came over and she made fucking, you know, the frijoles de la olla mayacobas, you know, with the pork, like it's like a bean pork stew. Fuck, it's not pork and beans, it's a bean and pork stew. Okay.
Yeah, there's a difference, guys.
There's a complete difference. Okay. So, anyways. But we were just discussing food after that. My mom and I bond over food all the time and cooking. Like, it's brought us so much closer together over the years. But anyways, we were discussing that. And she was telling me, she's like, you should have your own, you know, why don't you just make a YouTube channel? And I swear I was throwing every excuse at her. I was like, you know, I just don't like I even said the lighting. I was like, I don't like the lighting in the kitchen. I was like, I don't know. I don't like the lighting. The lighting's really bad. I'm like, you know, look at the kitchen is so small. My kitchen is so small. She's like, well, I watched this YouTube video of this lady in Mexico who has this little corner, this little stove, and she just makes everything. She has like over 10,000 like followers. And I was like, you know, I don't bullshit my mom. My mom knows me better than anyone else, and she can just read right through me. So I was like, how about I'm just like lazy? She's like, yeah, that I believe.
Yeah. And the thing is if you don't like the lighting, you just got to go on Amazon and buy one of those lightings.
Yes. Like my mom. She's not trying to throw me things at me. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, you know, it's just, you know, I have to change the floors. The floors wouldn't match with the lighting.
Yeah. This is the thing.
I just told her I was like, I'm just giving you excuses.
And, she's like, yeah. And I get where you're going at. Because obviously we're on my podcast. I sat on this thought and you know, I thought about starting a podcast for seems like decades. Even I'm exaggerating, but I sat on it, and the only person holding me back was me. So what I'm getting at is just do it. Just do it. Trust me. I'm gonna be your first subscriber because I don't know how to fucking cook. I need a recipe. And
we talked about that. We talked about how I've worked. You know, I'm very blessed. I've been very, very blessed with the opportunities that I've had working with who I've worked with. And God, I mean, who can say that at so early in my career? Like, fuck, who can say that? And I thank God every fucking day for it. There's not a day that goes by that I'm never thankful for those opportunities. But what I learned from that, and especially during this quarantine, I took it as a blessing, was that, you know, it's one thing of, you know, reaching the top, you know, and being like the best and recognized. That's not what I wanted. My thing, like we talked about, I wanted to be relatable to people who want to get in the kitchen and like to cook, just don't know how, and they don't want to be undermined by someone else who's snooty and looks down on it like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's like, that's not me. That's not my cooking technique either. I like I told you, I love anyone who gets in the fucking kitchen and at least fucking makes an effort and tries.
Yeah. I
think that's so important. Like, that's so much about a person just like a fucking hungry person who wants to have a meal with themselves, like, or with people, or cook for someone. It's a beautiful gesture. I rarely buy people gifts. My gift to people is always like, I don't know what to get you, but I'll cook for you. And you saw the hard work it takes. It's fucking hard work. I was there like running around, like all sweaty.
Yes. And I was like, girl, don't worry about me. You just do you. I'm just here eating my bag of chips.
It was such a sweet sight.
I am cute,
But
right?
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding. I am
But
cute.
yeah, I mean, I
know.
think, I want it to be relatable to people. And I think that's important. I
And you
wanted
are
them to be able to see.
relatable.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want them to see. I want people to see that. And if I ever do start something off the ground,
No.
when I start something
When you
off the
start,
ground,
bitch. No, when you start. Because the thing of it is that you're not here to service the 1% of the world, which is the posh fucking people. No, you're here to service people like me who don't know their way around kitchens, who need a recipe to do things, right? You are here to encourage us to be the best under
there she
our
goes
circumstances.
with that motivational speech that's gonna want to get me off the couch.
Yes, I'm here to motivate you because it's about people who do it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes we are our worst enemies.
Oh, absolutely. I'm my worst critic. I am. And you
Yes.
saw me. You heard me. I was in the
Oh,
kitchen.
yes.
I was
Guys,
so mad at myself.
you guys have no idea. Like, there was a few times where she said things to herself out loud. And I was like, no, stop that.
Like, stop that now.
You're here for me. And not to sound cocky, like you're here for me. That,
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I'm not your peer. I'm not a chef at your level. I'm a normal woman who doesn't have the cooking skills you do. So whatever you do, regardless if you miss a step, I'm going to fucking appreciate. Do you know what I mean? And I kept telling her that. And I kept telling her, you need to get on this YouTube stuff because you have it.
And I think even those little errors, if those little errors would have been recorded, I think it would be great because people would be like, well, fuck, I fucked up that part too. Because we were able to fix those things. I think the important part was that we were able to fix it. So there were certain ingredients that I didn't put into the albondiga. But I figured, you know what? When you take a piece of that, not only will it be, stewed up in the pomodoro, you're going to pick up some of those ingredients that were left out when you take a piece of the albondiga and scoop up some sauce, So I figured, all right, we're just going to put it in the sauce instead. And it worked perfectly. Oh my gosh. Like, if anything, I think it was better.
Yeah.
It was so much more better because the meatball wasn't overpowering and the sauce was just right. And it was really nice. And I think I'm going to revise my recipe for that because of those errors. And it's like...
because of me. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yes. You know what? Yes. I'm going to say that because you brought out the smoked paprika. You fucking stepped it up and after that. Gosh. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's it. Like I've been saved. I can fuck up this meal 10 million ways. And that smoked paprika is going to fix this dish.
It's funny because she put aluminum foil over it,
yeah,
right? And then when she pulled it up and she was like, oh yeah, that smoked paprika you have. You can smell. It almost sounded like she was coming. It was so weird. She was like,
girl, I almost did. My mouth was jizzing all kinds of places.
And for you guys, basically the reason I think the recipe of another meal I was trying to make asked for paprika. Probably just regular ass paprika. Yeah. But my store was sold out and all they had was smoked paprika. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll buy it. Like,
smoked paprika is it's like one of the spices of the gods.
And as a non-chef, I was like, smoked paprika,
yeah,
sweet paprika is what I thought.
And I was like, no, did you understand? I was like, you just stepped up like the fucking bar for this. Yes.
So I am a goddess without even realizing.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, I heard like the harps of angels when I saw that smoked paprika. I'm like, this dish just went up another level. Like, fuck. Fuck that sweet paprika. Fuck the sweet, because I only brought regular paprika because I forgot my my sweet paprika, which is whatever the Spanish sweet paprika. But you brought that smoked paprika. I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah. I like I said, I can fuck this meal up 10 ways.
So if there's anyone on here listening from Spain, she changed up the recipe with my smoked paprika, and it was better.
I sure did. And it was great.
Your ancestors would be like, damn, Mary.
Sweet Mother Mary. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Like, it came out really, I mean, I was so happy surprises. With that. I'm just kidding. And you could smell it though. Did you not smell the kitchen? It smelled so wonderful. Like, oh my goodness. It's just, it just brought up like the ambiance in the room changed. Like it was great. Like I got my groove back. Yes. After that, my confidence was just like, oh, that's it, man. On this.
This had nothing to do with me trying to encourage her to start her YouTube.
She was just like, I got some smoked paprika. I was like,
that's all it took.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, I just got this stuff. Going through her pantry.
Yes.
I was like, no, Mary, no. Sweet paprika. It requires sweet paprika.
No, we're not doing sweet paprika. We're doing smoked paprika.
You're like, I got this stuff.
No.
The way you handed it to me, you're like, there's this. I think it's smoked.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But you know what? Those trials and tribulations, I think, are so important. You fuck one thing up, and it just it can go really bad, or it can. Fuck, man, it can just change your life. It changed my life. That little error of me forgetting to put the paprika, the sweet paprika in the meatball, and then you're about to smoke paprika. Come on, that shit is just like, it's so potent that it'll, even in the pomodoro, it's going to go through those goddamn meatballs and you're going to taste it. And gosh, it was so good. I was so satisfied with the end results. I was already kicking myself in the ass, and I do that. I do that a lot. Like, I'll go home, I'm like, fuck, man, I fucked this up, or fuck, I forgot to put this one thing, or damn it, the way I garnished that just was totally like, incorrect. And I'll give myself a hard time for it, but for every little error that does go right, God, it's such a good relief. And I can't wait to like go home and just rewrite that recipe.
Good.
To just cross out that, Spanish sweet paprika and put in some smoked paprika in there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
No, we're not trying to offend the Spanish recipe, but it is what it is. Change and evolution is a way of life.
Like you said, paprika's paprika.
Paprika's paprika. Sweet, smoked, or regular.
Right? Yeah, it was great. I was really happy with it.
Yeah. So I was telling Josie I made a beef Wellington, and I hate mushrooms, but I essentially had mushrooms for this beef Wellington, but the recipe had nothing to do with garlic, and I was just like, I'm not a chef, but I love fucking garlic. I'm gonna add
throw in whatever the fuck. It's your kitchen, your rules.
When I had my beef Wellington, I was like, holy shit,
this is delicious.
I want to marry myself. Oh my god.
No, yeah, I think I think we're looking at the same recipe, because you said you got it.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I love his recipe for beef Wellington.
I was showing you his
oh my gosh,
it's
great. But you know what? Like, oh God, it's just. I mean, I love mushrooms. They're a big deal in my life. I am that I love meat. I love meat. I'm a steak girl. The way I feel about whiskey is the way I feel about steak. About meat.
So how do you feel about whiskey? I don't think we know as listeners.
Whiskey can turn me all kinds of ways.
Okay.
I love it. That's all I got to say about that.
So we get it. Go ahead.
However, if you put a grilled mushroom, a grilled portobello, in front of me, next to a fucking a medium rare bloody ass steak, I'm gonna take that fucking mushroom. I love mushrooms. Like, they're just really great. And the thing is, I don't believe in picky eaters. There's no such thing as a picky eater. It's just like, if you cook it a certain way, and you do different things to them, or just prepare it differently, you're going to eat it. Like, it's going to be good the way you do it. And the mere fact that you did it yourself and you tried it out and you liked it.
Knowing I hated them, right?
Knowing supposedly, you hated them. Turns out you don't hate them. It's just, it's all in the way you prepare it.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as a picky eater. If someone says, oh, it's just the texture, I'm like, well, they cook it different,
Yeah.
Freeze it if you have to, because you don't like how soft it is, whatever. People just have these connotations about it, but it's absolutely not. I don't believe in a picky eater. I just believe, like, I don't know, because I know people, they're like, oh, I don't like it. I just don't like the taste. I'm like, shut up about that one time that you ate it 10 years ago and that traumatized you forever. You fucking eat it now. It's not that bad. Just prepare it the way that you would like it, to a certain texture that feels comfortable for you. Add whatever it is that you have to add for you to put that in your mouth, or for you to try it out. Like, that's what she said.
She went there. I didn't. I love it.
That is what she fucking said. But anyways, yeah, I think there's no such thing as picky eater. It's all in the way you prepare it. Prepare it away, and like, you put in a fucking not only did you just prepare a fucking mushroom that you ate, you did a goddamn fucking beef Wellington. My God, woman, if a beef Wellington is what it takes for you to eat mushrooms, You have a very posh taste as well, miss.
I know. It's crazy because I went to the grocery store and I told the deli guy, I said, I want to make a beef Wellington, but this is what my recipe is asking for. And he was like, well, how many people are you cooking for? And I essentially was like, 2, you know. He was like, okay, so it's really expensive. So this is me coming from a person who doesn't cook, right? It's really expensive, so you could probably do half, you know. And I was like, okay. And even when he charged me the meat, I was like, fuck, that's the most expensive piece of meat I've ever bought in my life, right? I cooked it. I did exactly, well, I followed Gordon Ramsay's recipe.
I love his recipe.
But I also watched a few videos online, and then I kind of improvised. So obviously his recipe didn't have garlic, so I added garlic. I don't like mushrooms, but I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go and do this.
I'm glad you went in that direction with the mushrooms.
I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I have never been so, I've cooked a lot of recipes is what I'm getting at, but I had never once felt so proud of myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I cooked it. I put it in the oven. When I cut it in half, it was medium rare in the middle. Oh my God. And I was like, holy shit.
You're just making me mad. Why? Where was my invite when you made this beef Wellington?
I know.
Anyways, go on.
And then, you know, after I served my piece, you know, I had the gravy, roasted vegetables, and we even had Yorkshire pudding.
Oh, very nice. So you went all the way.
I went all the way.
Jeez.
I was like, holy fucking shit. This is like the best shit I have ever had from me cooking.
Isn't it so rewarding though? Just
yes.
to feel like, my God, and it's not like that. I mean, how can I explain it? I'm trying to word it correctly without the whiskey getting in the way.
Whiskey.
It just it motivates you just to get back in there and just like continue it. And I think that's important when you do something that you're really proud of, and especially like a fucking meat, like a dish, something that you so challenging, that's so prestigious, and everyone like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, like that's way too fancy for my, you know, for my take. There's no such fucking thing. You have no idea how easy some of these recipes are. You know, they're so easy. Or not, they may take a long time, but fuck, man, the majority of the time you just fucking leave it in the pot and let it cook, or
and you know
stove and let it
the
cook.
craziest part of it is if you go buy, like, for example, a beef Wellington dish at a restaurant, right? It's like $40-$50.
Absolutely.
For a piece of the beef Wellington.
Absolutely.
With roasted vegetables and maybe mashed potatoes or maybe Yorkshire pudding, right? I fucking paid like $40 for that piece of meat. You know what I mean?
And you got like a whole fucking loaf, I'm pretty sure. They could feed about 2 or 3 people.
I ate that shit all week. But the fact that I was like, you know, you go to a restaurant, you try some shit, and you're like, damn, my shit is better than this shit.
Oh, absolutely. You have no idea how many times, like, I've even like just put it aside. I'm like, I'm not eating that. And it's not, no, you know what? Yes, it is. It is me being a fucking snob, because I know I could do it better.
And what's crazy is that you're a chef. You yourself are a chef. And I felt that way, and I'm not a chef. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like.
You're a home cook. Eventually, people move up being home fucking chefs. Be a home fucking chef. If you want to go in your kitchen because you cooked a beef Wellington, you call yourself a home fucking chef. I'm a fucking home chef.
I totally get it. Like, if who I am 10 years ago, like who I was 10 years ago would not believe the shit that I cook now. So I'm very proud of myself. Yeah.
You should be. Dude, it's not like you started off, you know, making a sandwich and then worked your way up from there. You just went in your kitchen, you made a beef Wellington.
Yeah.
Like, you skipped all the steps and just went straight for the final.
And she makes a great point. Like, if you guys came to my house and you said, can you make me a sandwich? I would make you a piece of shit sandwich, but I would make you an amazing ass fucking beef Wellington.
And for starters, because I don't think you even have stuff to make a sandwich.
Yes. They would be like, oh my God, I had a
You're
sandwich.
like, I got some air tacos.
Mary's sandwich was like so gross. But I had her beef Wellington, and that was some good ass shit.
That was some bomb ass shit.
That was like the
shit.
best ass shit she's ever cooked. But ask me to make you a fucking sandwich.
You're like, no, nah.
Yeah. So in relationships, I'm not the cook. For some reason, the guys I've dated have been cooks.
Lucky you.
The next guy I date he will be eating my beef Wellingtons and my Jamaican Creole shrimp.
That was really good. And you like your grains were when you made your grits were white. I loved it. All I have is I have grits or whatever, the polenta at home. But when I saw that you used the white, I mean, I was even jealous because I made a similar dish.
Oh my God. So literally today I saw a patient they're from Louisiana, and we are recording this on Thursday right before Labor Day. And so I'm very chatty, and I was like, so what are you doing this weekend, Labor Day, as I'm assessing the patient? And he was like, I think I'm going to do some barbecuing. And he kind of went into it. And I had explained to him that I started following this guy on YouTube who is like from South LA. You know, I'm from South LA. So, you know, I resonated with that guy. And I told him if it wasn't for that guy and the way he explained on YouTube how he cooks things, I have never in my life ever fucking touched grits. But because
was that the first time you made them?
That was the first time I made them.
Dude, they look creamy as fuck, and they look so good.
And when I ate them, I was like, fuck, I'm so good. It's ridiculous. But what I'm getting at is that even though I'm not a natural cook like she is, Miss Josie, who's a professional chef, I'm at that stage right now where I'm willing to learn. Do you know what I mean? And I'm willing to try.
Oh my God, I think that's just
everything.
wonderful. I love that.
That's why my pantry was full of shit. Even though my fridge might have been somewhat empty, but my freezer is jam-packed, everyone. So don't worry about me. I'm not going to.
She's not starving is what she means to say.
Yes, but I'm definitely down to try different
And don't worry.
recipes.
I think I made you enough for like a whole week.
Yes.
Okay, so you're good.
Yes, I'm going to be eating.
And we found out that I only live like 4 minutes away from you.
Yes.
So anytime I cook something, you have to stop by and just pick it up.
Yes. So I was telling her, because she's 1/4 Salvadorian, essentially, right? 1/4.
My dad's half Salvadorian.
Yes. So I was telling her when she learns to make, oh shit, I just had
El pancito.
So they have like a sandwich, essentially, that Salvadorians have a sandwich that is essentially, it depends on who's cooking it. It could be turkey or it could be chicken. It's almost like a torta or a sandwich, but it's juicy ass chicken or turkey with certain, it has parsley on top. Curtido.
Oh, I just have curtido.
Curtido is basically like cabbage, vinegar, and carrots and certain spices.
Yeah. It's like it's a slaw, essentially a slaw with just the vinegar, no mayo in it.
Yeah, it's so fucking like bomb.
It's a Salvadorian slaw.
Yes, and so for those of you who have seen me in person, my height is 5'2". I weigh 103 pounds, so I'm very petite. I eat very little, but when it comes to Salvadorian panes, I could have 2 or 3 in a sitting. Now, if you guys have seen panes, they're fucking huge. They're literally like sub sandwiches.
They're like bigger than the pupusas.
Yeah, they're like subs. And I will literally have like 3 in one sitting because that's how fucking good
this I gotta see. But all right, go on.
Oh, trust me, I will devour them.
I gotta see this.
So cook it up, girl, and I'll be there.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Challenge accepted.
Yes.
And I have to. Like I said, I have been meaning to cook more Salvadorian food. Like I told you, like my dad wasn't very expressive when we were young. I didn't even know I was Salvadorian until I was like fucking like 11 or 12. And I was telling Mary earlier how I cried when I found out that I wasn't, Mexican. Like full, like, we always knew we were Turkish because my dad always talked about that, but he never discussed being Salvadorian.
Yeah.
And my mother's a very proud, Mexican. She would always say, soy mexicana de México del Distrito Federal. We've heard that my entire, and I can quote it because she's always said it.
Which is I'm from, is it
Oh,
the capital
I'm
of
Mexican
Mexico?
from Mexico, of the capital city of Mexico. Yes.
Yeah,
Like that.
so
So
she was very
So
prideful.
So Mexicana de Mexico del Distrito Federal. The District of Mexico. Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
chilanga, as we call it.
Chilanga.
Chilanga, that's what they call them. They call them chilangas. Those are from the capital city of Mexico. So she's very cultured. That woman is so intelligent. She's very educated and just the most wonderful human being in the whole world. God damn that woman, in a good way.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so I always grew up just thinking I was Mexican, and I always thought, okay, and I'm that other weird thing Turkish. When I was younger, I thought that, I remember when I was like, Mom was like, well, you're also Salvadorian. She made it like she was like, I did something bad, I think. She was like, oh, that must be your Salvadorian side. I was like, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
She's like, you're Salvadorian. You're dead Salvadorian. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because my father never spoke about that part of his life, which is, whatever. He has his reasons. Whatever. He was more prideful of his Turkish side than Salvadorian. But since then, like I said, when I cried. And I was like, it's like I told you, it had nothing to do with me not being accepting of that. It was just like finding out you were like, it's like someone hearing you're adopted, or like that's not your real dad or something like that. But I remember just crying and thinking like, oh my God, like this whole time I've been so proud to be this, and I'm not even fully this. But like I said, since then, like I just kind of like took it on.
Yeah. So my job is to make this bitch cook Salvadorian dishes
and make me feel proudful about it.
Fuck yeah, you should. Seriously.
No, yes. Like I said, since then, I've been a very, 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 very proud Salvadorian. Like it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm double Latina. I can say that. I'm double Latina, all right? Not just Latina. I'm double Latina. I got double the spice and foes.
Yes.
But yeah.
And I wish I could say the same.
Girl, you're full Salvadorian. That's
I'm full Salvadorian.
That's enough. That's beautiful. That's beautiful already as it is. I'm a fucking mutt. I'm like all kinds of things, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No.
So,
but yeah, we didn't get to grow up with that, so I would love to just become more accustomed to cooking more Salvadorian food. Mexican food I can do day and night with my eyes closed. Like I don't even
you
need
can
recipes.
do it with your eyes closed. So let's move on to the next.
Yeah, exactly. The Salvadorian aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Because even Turkish food I can do. I've been doing Mediterranean food for a long time, like just from home, because my mother was very encouraging even with that. My mother was very like, she's like, you guys are Turkish, like you express that, be that, like she's really wonderful about that, so
now I expect you to start doing those Salvadorian dishes.
little pancitos.
Little pancitos.
I will definitely.
Pastelitos.
I'm gonna definitely. I'll make you some like fried.
Plátanos.
What fried? Oh no, eso ya lo sé. But the fried pork con la yuca. Oh man, I'm gonna have that.
Yuca.
It'd be really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I definitely need to go in that direction. It's intimidating. It's very intimidating. Just because, like I said, I don't want to fuck it up because I don't want to like. It's kind of like fucking up. What's a really beautiful, rich, proud Mexican dish? It's like if I fuck up a fucking sope. Like I'm like, how can you, or a gordita, or pozole or something like that.
Yeah.
If I fuck up Salvadorian food.
I love pozole. Oh.
Yeah, me too.
I love pozole. Yeah.
My mom has just gotten like, she made it this past weekend. God, and it was just so great. And she used to make it just with California chiles. And I started bringing up chiles guajillos. I was like, add this to it. And she was like, what do you mean add this? She's like, I know to add that to it. She's like, but you kids never liked it. She's like, it's spicy. I'm like, well, we're not kids anymore. We're adults. She's like, you want a Mexican pozole? I'll make a Mexican pozole. It was so fucking delicious. It was just great. And it was just rich. And just, it had that spice of the guajillo chiles, the dried chiles. It was just like, it was so amazing. I was so proud of her. And she was so happy. Like, she was so giddy and happy and excited. She's like, finally, my kids are grown enough now that they can have it like the way we have it in Mexico. And I just saw how excited she was like that. It was such a good feeling, like, to see her like that. I love seeing her get so excited about it. But then she, like, she's been on a roll now. So she's been like just cooking this like authentic girl.
So let's just think about that. You just inspired your mother, who's older than you.
Oh, see, there you go again with that inspirational talk.
I
Right,
know. I'm an inspirational person. So I inspire, whether you guys like to believe it or not, I bring inspiration into your brains. That's just who I am, because I'm a positive person. And so here I'm telling Josie, look what you're just telling me. You're telling me how all of a sudden your mother is taking up bringing these authentic, flavors. You brought that into her. So I need you to bring it into the rest of all of us. Like, now I want to cook meatballs every week. So today I had meatballs de España, essentially. I want to have Turkish meatballs next week, and the week after that I want to have...
You know what? And it was on our list. Remember, I put it on our list. I put Morocco. Well, not Turkish, but I did put Moroccan meatballs.
Yeah.
It's only because I had meatballs on my mind. That's what she said.
But think of your passion as an inspiration for others.
Absolutely.
And,
like, you're right.
Work on it.
It's just my thing. Like I said, I am my biggest critic.
I'm going to work on that. Guys, I'm going to work on it. Trust me, what she was cooking, I was like, girl, I'm not your chef coworker. So stop already telling me what's wrong with this.
Like,
I'm going to love it. Yes.
God, it's kind of like a beaten dog. Like, like I just work like just the restaurant industry. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love it. I love that I'm part of the hospitality. Sorry, the whiskey industry. Being a part of it, it's just, it's an experience that I've been waiting for my whole life to be part of.
And you're a part of it.
Absolutely, yeah. And
not
it's just,
only
God,
did you
so
make
good.
me happy today, we posted my stories and I had like 20 responses. Like, what the fuck is going on over there? I know.
That cheese. I like that comment. That was good.
She saw that. She looked at my phone and someone's comment popped up and was like, that cheese.
That machango cheese.
So not only that, you're now going to be, I average, I have a lot of downloads, you know what I mean? So now people are going to be like listening to you talk about cooking. Talk about food.
You know what? And please.
So I'm here to inspire this bitch. I want her to be the best that she is, which is a lot better than what she's putting out right now. She has so much potential, and I am here to inspire you. Listen, guys, I'm here to inspire you. Do it. Do it. Believe in yourself. If the person who may be necessarily someone at your level, and I'm talking to Josie here, if the person who maybe is at your level may not understand you, there's a million people below your level who will want to learn what you already know. So go and teach those people, empower those people. You're going to change so many lives. And again, I'm talking to Josie, but this could be, I could be talking to you.
You can apply to a lot of people who are listening. A lot of your listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a lot of listeners, which is...
I do have a lot of listeners.
Which is very intimidating for me right now because we're doing this.
Do not be intimidated.
Thank you, whiskey, for the liquid courage.
Apparently people like my crazy ass. So what I'm getting at is that just be yourself. Don't be your biggest critic. Don't listen to your peers. Do you because you want to do you. And there's going to be people who are going to be like, I fucking like this bitch because she's being herself. She's showing me things in a way that I understand. She's inspiring me to be better. So yes, there might be people who are better than you, but there's a million people below you who want to learn from you. And that's what I kept telling her is like, you could be cooking for the 1%, but you got 99% who would fucking learn so much shit from you.
And I think where we really agreed on was, like I said, like when you asked me, on which spectrum am I really on? It's like, well, I want to be the relatable one. I want to be where people relate to my cooking and just like, fuck, it doesn't have to be like point on point on point, and doesn't have to be perfect, and doesn't have to be I fucked up today. I was gonna say we fucked up. Yeah. I fucked up today.
Bitch,
on certain steps.
Up. Not me. You fucked up. No, I'm just kidding.
On certain steps, it's like, but they were easy fixes. Not only that, it perfected my recipe, and I was so like thrown off. Like I was like, And I love those moments. I love those moments where that one fuck up fixes something in your recipe where it was, you didn't know it was flawed. And not even flawed, but you made it better. And I think like, well, fuck. I would even want to be that person who, you know, there's my favorite, my fucking girl crush forever, Carol Nicoletti, where she has a recipe where she's making a veggie burger and she fucks up and she's gonna like, well, you know, it just happens. She continues going on with the recipe of making that veggie burger. It's on Munchies. And I love her so much because she's so humble and she shows even her like flaws and her errors, but there's always a way to fix it. Not only that, you're in your kitchen and it's fine to fuck up. It's okay. It's not like it is in the professional setting where it's, you know, where at times it breaks you and you just become so fearful and you forget why you even started this to begin with. I don't want to be that. And I don't want to encourage that. That is not what I want to send off. That is not the kind of chef I want to be. I want to be the person who's relatable. People can see and like learn from it. It's like, well, you know, we fucked up here. Let's why don't we figure a way to fix it? And if we can't fix it, then I guess we'll just have to start over, or we'll just work with what we got.
Which is what you did today.
Which is what I did today. So we worked with what I got. That's when we got the smoked paprika. Fuck, and it just made it better.
Exactly.
My God, it was pretty amazing, and it was a total success. That fucking dish. Even I was like, typically, like I told you, I never eat my own dishes. Once I'm done, sure, I'll plate it. I'll take a picture, and then I'll give it to somebody. You know, I'm like, here someone or whatever to eat it. I'm so exhausted, mentally exhausted, but I sat down and I ate it and I was just like really happy with like, because it was it was a different recipe. It wasn't the same recipe that I would I've worked on or that I had. It was already something different. So it was really inspiring for myself. I was like, well, I should fuck up more often. Maybe I'd find something different in the rest of my other recipes. Yeah. So it was,
so I hope if there's anything you can take from this
I definitely did. It was so
with
unexpected.
Me is that you're at another level of professionalism where you get shit like food. You know what I mean? People who totally can cook up a fucking meal out of scratch is literally a minority. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how I think you have the power in you to make people like me feel like, hey, I can be a fucking gourmet chef. Just by listening to Josie. Just by watching her videos. No, seriously. Yeah. I'm here to inspire everyone who walks into my life. And everyone who walks into my life is put in my life for a purpose. And when I say that, is like, maybe you're here to teach me something. So maybe I'm here today to teach you something. I'm trying to get this girl to make.
You know what's funny though? We weren't even supposed to cook today either. We were just supposed to do the segment. Yeah. And you're like, hey, I should just order some food, right? I'm like, well, you know what? I'm like, well, it's about cooking. Yes. We'll cook. And I just wanted an excuse to use her kitchen because I love to cook. Like, you guys have no idea. I love to cook. Really, like, obviously I'll have my slum days where I'm just like, I don't want to get in the fucking kitchen, especially during the summer.
Yeah, it's normal. That's most of us.
Today I was very, very, very encouraged. Like I said, if not, I wouldn't have I made the breakfast tortas at home today. And I would have made lunch, but my mom visited and took over my kitchen. I was like, fuck, man. Made her goddamn stew that just changed my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use an excuse to cook because it's my therapy. I love it. It's my comfort zone and my happy place, my absolute happy place. Yeah. Next to the grocery store, the fucking kitchen. I love being in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Working shit up. So it was fun though.
Fun. I had a lot of fun and I want to thank you for being on my podcast today.
Thank you.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was so much fun.
Yes. I'm willing to do more podcasts with her if she's willing to cook for me every time she comes.
I know she told me weekly and I'm pretty sure she was serious.
I literally was like, hey, if I pay you weekly to come cook for me, would you be down?
I laughed and she just gave me like a serious face and
I was like, no, bitch.
A Dorito in her mouth.
Yeah, I was like, I'm being serious, bitch. Like,
cook for me now.
I'm a single woman looking to be fed for a week. So
I will gladly cook for you. Gladly. We're going to make some good stuff. Don't worry.
So again, thank you so much for being on this episode. And I hope that the next time I have you on my Purposely Curious podcast, You are letting me know that you took all my advice and you are on YouTube showing us normal, non-cooking people how to be the best cooks we could be. Because, again, I'm here to inspire you, and you got it, girl. Oh. And I'm here. This is the thing. You don't even realize that everything I told you today is for the better. I'm here to inspire you, and you got it. Don't be your worst enemy.
You're so sweet. You're so kind.
And the reason I say that is because we all are like that, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of us beat ourselves up. You have it in you. And I'm not talking about Michelin, like
no,
you
stars. Know what? You saw me in the flesh. Like, you saw me in action. You saw me in the kitchen. So I can only take your word for it. Now, if you're saying this because of what you saw, then I mean, I can only take what you have to say to heart. And so thank you.
And you should. Yeah. I'm not just bullshitting you. Like, there is an industry in you that you gotta tap and you gotta go with it.
You're so kind. Thank you.
No,
thank you, my Mary. You're so sweet. Really,
like,
really. I had fun. I know. Apart from me talking to myself and critiquing and being hard on myself in there, like, yeah, thank God you like, hey, don't you have some whiskey in the fridge? Maybe tone down that voice in your head.
Yeah,
it works.
Sometimes you need that inspiration you didn't realize you needed. So.
Yeah, and it was great. Like I said. Well, you see how I get. You see how I work. I am, I have fun in my kitchen. I do, but I do get very critical. I forget, like, this is not a professional setting. This is my kitchen.
Yeah.
And, like I said, like, I think if I ever do, start something, that's how I want people to feel. Don't, not for them not to be so hard on themselves. Just do the best you fucking can. And just, I mean, if it tastes good to you, just like your beef Wellington, if it came out good to you, I mean, if this shit was the bombest shit that you could put on your goddamn table, it was totally worth it. And, I mean.
So listen to yourself in the future. What you just said, that's for you, baby.
Oh, girl.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, my dear.
And like I said, next time I have you on, it's because you're going to have millions of followers on YouTube, because you're going to break it down for all of us nobodies who want to learn to be on your level. Okay.
You heard it here first.
You heard it
first. When I make it big and I forget about all y'all, I'm gonna remember this.
Oh no, this bitch! Trust me, I'm gonna be knocking. I'm gonna be knocking on a door. I was like, do you see like, this? We recorded this on this day, and
like, where are my riches, bitch? Where's my cut?
No, I want you to be successful and have that all to yourself, because you deserve it.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, my dear. I had so much fun. We will do this again, and like you said, God willing, it'll be a different conversation where, yes, I it's a step up from where we were today.
Yes. Oh, that's the train. I live by railroad, so thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you join us on our next episode. Bye.
Bye.
That was episode 28 of the Purposely Curious podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on most podcast platforms. And follow us on social media at Purposely Curious on Instagram and at Purposely C Pod on Twitter. That's Purposely, the letter C, Pod. Until next time, you know what to do.